Hey guys, I'm here with Cheyenne.
Hi.
Hi. So, a month ago, I believe, I promised you guys a video about the wildfires, and a lot has happened in that month to make it to where I haven't been able to record it. So that's what we're doing today. We're making a video about the wildfires and just kind of, I don't know how long the video is going to be, but kind of like a step-by-step kind of what we went through and everything that happened. And I will be putting pictures in the video so you guys can kind of walk through it with us and see a little bit of what we've gone through. You know, we don't have too many pictures, unfortunately, but we do have some during pictures, some after, you know, and in between pictures. So we're gonna start with the very first thing is the fire was called the Alameda fire, and it started, what was it, that Friday?
Yeah, I think so.
The Friday before our house burned down. So it was, I think, the 5th of September, 2020. Don't quote me on that, it might have been the 4th. And it had started in Ashland, Oregon. All of the citizens have been told different stories of how it started. We've been told that a homeless person started it. We've been told that it was gang activity. We've been told that another one was that the fire started because a homeless guy was trying to cover up a murder that he had committed. So we're not really sure how the fire had started. I heard about it that Friday when it had started, and I was talking to Anita, Cheyenne's mom, out on our front porch that, you know, Ashland's not that far from Phoenix, Oregon. Minxie, do not get on the table.
I swear.
And so I was talking to her about the fact that it could reach us. I told her, you know, it's less likely, but it could. So Saturday goes by, Sunday goes by, we don't hear much about the fire. And so then we're on Monday, and that Monday night, Anita and I were sitting out on our front porch, smoking. Now you guys all know that I am a smoker. I've been trying to keep that on the DL, but that's what we were doing. I'm not gonna lie. And the winds picked up that night around 8 o'clock that Monday night. And I looked at Anita and I said, this is gonna be bad. And I could tell by the direction the wind was blowing that it was gonna blow the Ashland fire straight at Talent and Phoenix. And she was like, what do you mean? And I was like, well, the winds have picked up, and the winds are pretty strong at this point. Like it was a pretty good windstorm that we were having. And I told her, I said, look at the direction of the wind. It's going from south to north, and we are north of Ashland. So that's gonna blow the fire straight at us. The next morning on Tuesday, September 8th, 2020, the day that we did lose our home, started like any other morning, kind of. It was a little odd. The power kept fluctuating, kept going on and off. And I noticed, because I sleep with a fan in my bedroom, and it kept turning off. And so I'd have to get up, turn it back on, lay back down. And then Anita came to me and said, hey, the water's not working. The water's off. And I thought, well, that's awfully strange. Okay. That's never happened before. And so I went back to bed, and she went to work, and the kids kept complaining because there was no water and the power kept going on and off. And I'll kind of let Cheyenne explain how that was for the kids, because I was asleep at that point.
I honestly don't really remember that much, but I kind of remember some of it. But I was gonna take a shower that morning, and my hair gets really greasy, and like the water wasn't working, and that was like really annoying. And I and DJ wanted to make like top ramen, and they were complaining because the water wasn't working, and the power wasn't working either, right?
Well, it was like fluctuating. Like it would go off and then it would come back on. And then I would get up and I would turn on my fan and I'd go back to bed and then go off again, maybe 15 minutes later. And I'd get up and I'd turn my fan back on. It was annoying as heck.
It was.
And we didn't really understand what was going on. You know, I like I said, the night before I had this gut feeling like this is not going to be good. And I could tell by the way the wind was, because my husband is a wildfire firefighter, blah. So he does this for a living. He's told me, you know, a lot of different things that happen during these wildfires, and, you know, the wind obviously is a huge aspect of these wildfires and how they travel. And so I knew as soon as the wind picked up, after everything that my husband has told me about these wildfires, that this was not going to be good. This was going to be really bad. So, but I had never heard him explain, like, the power shuts off, water shuts off, like all of that goes down. So that part was just really annoying to me. And the kids were trying to kind of be calm. You know, the power kept going off. They didn't understand why. And then finally, the last time the power went off, I basically was like, F it, I'm getting up. There's no point to trying to sleep through this because I keep having to wake up anyways and turn my fan back on. So I went outside to smoke a cigarette first thing in the morning. That's what I do. Ask her. And I saw this huge mushroom of smoke. I mean, it was horrible. And my stomach just turned so bad that I literally puked into our backyard. Like, I was like, it scared me. And we hadn't gotten the order yet to evacuate. But as soon as I saw the mushroom of smoke and how close it was to our house, by then the fire had reached North Talent. So it was almost to Phoenix where we lived. And as soon as I saw that mushroom and how close it was to us, I started calling all my friends. I started trying to call my husband. He was actually fighting a wildfire in California, which, if that's not irony, I don't know what is. So I started trying to call everybody that I knew. And finally, one of my friends is like, yeah, come on over to my house, you know, where you'll be safe. We're North Medford. We're a ways from where you're located. So I went in and I told the kids to pack bags, anything that is a necessity. You can only take literally what you cannot sleep without, and clothing. These kids were trying to pack toys and everything under the sun. And I kept having to tell them, no, you can't pack that. No, you can't pack that. And then we got the chinchilla and the dogs and all of our baggage, and we got it in the car. Unfortunately, I didn't have carriers for the kittens. We had 2 4-month-old kittens. I had literally bottle fed them because their mom couldn't take care of them. They were born inside my house. And so we had to leave the kittens behind, which honestly, I kept telling the kids, our house isn't going to be burned down. It's going to be fine. We're just evacuating to be on the safe side. So then we started the trip over to my friend's house. So I started out of our parking lot, and literally I got up to like the hill where it hits the road, and I couldn't get out. They were rerouting all of the traffic from the freeway that goes towards Ashland and Talent through Phoenix to get them out back to Medford and north. So I couldn't get out, and I had to pretend like it was Portland traffic or New York traffic. Like, I had to literally force my way into this long line of traffic. And finally we got onto the main road, and we started towards South Medford. And it took us an hour, I think, about an hour.
Yeah.
To get through that traffic. It was that bad from everybody that was coming off the freeways. And then we got over to my friend's house, and we were there for about an hour when I heard that one of my friends that lived close to where we were in the same kind of park area called me and told me that they were now evacuating Phoenix. They gave them 5 minutes. 5-minute warning. You need to get out. We evacuated 2 hours early. Thank goodness. So she let me know that they were starting to evacuate. And so I went outside and I looked, you know, over towards where I knew Phoenix and Talent were. And all I could see was just plumes of smoke. So I took some pictures of it, you know. We went over to Walmart and we got some stuff to stay at my friend's house. And we were there for maybe 5 hours, if that,
Yeah.
4 hours.
Yeah, about that.
Your mom, Cheyenne's mom, was evacuated from Walmart where she works. And she came over to my friend's house. And we had just got her in and settled when we were told that we had to evacuate from there. So, you know, we heard it over like this Rogue Valley scanner kind of thing on our phones that they were evacuating North Medford. I found out later that was not the case. So we didn't actually have to evacuate, but we did. So I got, let's see, there's 4 children, 2 adults of ours, 6. And then my friend's family, which is 2 adults and 1 child. So it's 9 people altogether, plus our dogs, plus our chinchilla, plus all of our baggage into 2 vehicles. It was interesting. And then we were planning on going to like Brookings area. And I called my husband, finally got a hold of him, and he's like, what is going on? And I told him, you know, Phoenix is on fire, Talent is on fire, Ashland is on fire. It has been since Friday. And him being a wildfire firefighter, he had no idea this was going on, which is really weird because normally they call in all those wildlife firefighters and they didn't. And so I got to break the news to him that Phoenix, where we live, is on fire. And I said, I'm pretty sure that our house is on fire as well, but I wasn't like 100%. So he told me to call my mom. So I did. And she lived up, if you know anything about Oregon, she lived up in Astoria by Seaside, which is right on the border of Washington. And where we live, it's right on the border of California. So she told us she had an extra RV trailer that we could stay in. And we literally drove from Oregon border to Oregon border. And the entire time that, like, when we started out, we had to go through like Central Point, places like that. And the only thing I really remember, like, that stuck with me the most is when we started going through Central Point, the freeway was backed up, obviously, because there were so many people trying to evacuate. And as we were going through Central Point, we literally had fire on, because Central Point was on fire as well. We literally had fire right next to the freeway, and there were emergency vehicles flying past us on the right-hand side, like the emergency shoulder. And the kids were just screaming because you could feel the heat from the fire, and it was so close to us. I'm surprised it didn't bubble the paint on my car, to be honest. They were really panicked and they were really scared. So we got past all of that, and I got to like Grants Pass. I had to stop for gas. I didn't have any gas. Grants Pass didn't have any gas. Nowhere had any gas. Nowhere had hotel rooms. So I started heading towards my mom, and where did we stop at the Pilot? Wilsonville? Was it? No. I can't remember.
I know it's like
it's where the wildlife safari is.
Yeah.
Shoot. Well, if you know anything about Oregon, it's along the freeway, and it's where there's this wildlife safari. We stopped in there. Anita, her mom, needed some rest, and I needed some gas because I was literally on E, because I wasn't expecting this. I hadn't filled my tank up. So we stopped in there for a couple hours, and I couldn't sleep. Everybody else around me was sleeping, and I couldn't sleep. And so I got on my phone, which is the worst thing to do when you're going through something like this. Don't do it. Please don't do it. I got on Facebook, and I saw somebody's video of the fires. So I thought I'd click on it. And he literally started at the south end of Talent and made his way all the way through Phoenix, where they were letting them go to kind of evacuate. And there was fire everywhere. Like, he was literally driving through active fire. And as he drove past the Circle K that was right across the street from where we lived, he pointed the phone out the driver window, and I literally saw all of the houses there were on fire, and that's exactly where our house was. And I started screaming and crying. Like, that's all my stuff. That's all my memories. You know, there's stuff in there that is irreplaceable. It doesn't matter if you give me, you know, $20 million. I can't replace it. It's just, Cheyenne had things of her grandma in there. She had just passed away, literally almost a year to the day. Like, this all hit on the 8th, and Cheyenne's grandma's, like, anniversary of her dying was on the 26th of September. So she got to go through the anniversary of her grandmother passing away through all of this chaos and heartache and trauma. And so we got up to, you know, I showed Anita the video and everything, and I told her, I said, I can't just stay here, we gotta go. And so we ended up going to where my mom was, and everybody around me was in denial. Our house didn't burn down, you know, it was kind of right in the middle of all of those houses. It's gonna be fine, it's still gonna be standing. I'm like, okay, well, whatever you guys say. You know, that was my mom, Anita, my husband, David. Everybody was in complete denial. And, you know, I'm one of those people that, you know, yes, the glass is half full, but I'm not going to fool myself. If I know something's going on, I know what's going on. You know, I could feel it. It was gone. So we were stuck up in Astoria, and I wanted to come home so bad. My husband actually ended up coming home first. And there was military everywhere. They would not let them in to the active burn zones. So he had to get escorted by a police officer because I needed my safe. My safe was supposed to be fireproof. So I told him, I need my safe. We've got the title to our house in there. We've got titles to vehicles in there. My gun is in there because I had a 9mm gun that I had to replace. You know, there's some jewelry in there that I need. Anita has $250 in there for her car insurance. There's stuff in there I need. So he had to get escorted into the active zone to get just my safe. That's all he was allowed to grab. And he took pictures while he was there. And he sent the pictures to me. And I got the pictures right as we started driving home. Like, I was in my car. And I had all the kids in the back. and the pictures started to load and come through. And I had to take a break. It was one of the hardest things I'd ever had to see. You know, that's literally mine and my husband's whole lives were gone in, you know, a matter of a couple hours. And so the pictures started coming through, and I had to pull over, and I had to take a minute and cry. And after a few minutes, you know, I was like, okay, let's get back on the road. We're okay. I was still, you know, holding out that the kittens had made it out. So we got back to town, and we had to stay in a hotel for a little while. And my husband begged me, don't go out there when they release it, when they let people start coming in. And I was, you know, I was like, I don't know, we'll see. And so we got into a very tiny 2-bedroom apartment. I had to make the kids' bedroom out of the living room. So we had no living room. So that was really tough. We had 7 people, and then my mom moved in, and so we had 8 people.
I hate that place so much.
I hated it too. It was horrible. And we were there for maybe a couple days, and I was like, yep, I can't do it anymore. I have to go see my house. So I drove out there, and some of the pictures that you guys are going to be seeing are from my trip. And I might also splice the video that I took the day that I went out there. I don't know, I'll have to see if I can do that. But you guys will be seeing pictures. So the truck that you see that's kind of out the driver's side, that's my husband's SUV. And then the big brick building is like our little clubhouse kind of area. And then the one that says 114 and it says safe underneath it, that was our house. And they wrote safe outside of all the houses that people got out of. And there were quite a few that didn't say safe. And I can't imagine what those people's last minutes were like. Quite a few people died in the Alameda fire. The total count of homes lost, or not even homes, it was just buildings, you know, structures lost, was 2,000. But they didn't count like each individual mobile home and RV, things like that, where people were living. So it's closer to like 4,000, 5,000. They counted like one whole park, RV park or trailer park, as one structure. So, and then they said the only 3 lives were lost, but we have proof that it was more than that. And I can't imagine those people that don't know that they lost their loved ones. So that's our story. It was excruciatingly traumatic. It was horrific. And we're still rebuilding. We're still rebuilding our lives. We're not rebuilding our house. I know some people have gotten a little confused on that. I wish we could. We are looking into getting a loan from the government because we are fire victims to replace our house, but we're not rebuilding it. We didn't technically own the land, and so we have no claim over that land, so we can't rebuild our house. But we are rebuilding our lives, and you know, we're getting there. The kids are still really traumatized. Every time that they see smoke, like last year during the wildfires, they automatically packed bags, emergency bags now. Last night, there was a really bad thunder lightning storm that came through. They started packing emergency bags. I was like, it's just a storm, you guys. And they're like, yes, but lightning causes fire. And they have a point. Like, I couldn't argue that. And then I looked at Ariana, I said, everything's gonna be fine. Mom, that's what you said with the wildfire. I can't argue that either because that is what I said. So, you know, they're still going through a lot of emotions and trauma from the fire. You know, they literally drove through fire, literally. Their dad was not there. He was fighting another wildfire, protecting other people's homes from burning down in the Paradise, California Paradise, I think it was, fire. Just to come home and realize that his house is burned down. Yeah, he couldn't save his own, but he's out there saving other people's. And, you know, it did a lot to all of us. And it's still kind of hard to talk about, you know. Like I said, there was things that we can't replace, like Cheyenne's grandma's things. It's not replaceable. My dead uncle's chain, not replaceable. You know, my wedding dress from the happiest day of my life, not replaceable. I had to leave it behind. So, you know, people don't know our story, and they like to make fun a lot of Cheyenne and sometimes me. And that's a really horrible thing to do because we've been through a lot. And literally 5 months after we lost our home where all of us were living, we lost my mom. She died of pancreatic cancer. So, you know, when you go to make fun of somebody, you need to think about their story and what they're going through, and that they probably don't need your BS on top of it. So, you got anything to add? Or did I cover most of it?
Cover most of it. I just want to say, like, I kind of like to cover people, but like, oh, well, if you knew you need braces, then you should have got braces before, like, the fire. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. It's not my fault. I didn't know the fire was going to hit. Like, we were going to get them. It's just...
Yeah, like, before the fires, we were doing great financially. My kids wanted for nothing. They had anything and everything that they could ever want. We had an amazing house. You know, Cheyenne and Anita lived with us. I just got my daughter braces. We were planning on just getting Cheyenne braces. And then the fires hit. And so there went all of our money. And it's like, ever since the fires, we can't catch a break. It's one financial thing after another. I just took Ariana to Portland. That was like, wow, that was financially stressful. Now I have to take Ariana back to Portland this coming up Thursday, and that's financially stressful on top of that. And it's like we're having to get loans from my husband's boss just for me to take Ariana to, you know, up to Portland so that she can get all this medical stuff done that she needs done. And we don't mind getting loans from his boss, but it's the point of paying it back, because at this moment, financially, we're strained financially really bad. You know, we've replaced a lot of our stuff, but, you know, you don't realize how expensive everything is until you have to replace it all at once. And that's exactly what we had to do, all at once. You know, we had to figure out what was a dire need, we need it now, and what could wait, you know, a little while. And that's what we've been doing since the fires. And I'm still getting things that we lost during the fires, like clothes for the kids. And they grow as well. So I'm having to every once in a while, you know, get rid of clothes that I just bought them to get new clothes. So financially, we're not doing okay. That's why I have the GoFundMe for her braces. I wish I could pay for them. I was gonna pay for them. Things happen. Literally, we had the money to pay for her braces, and then the fires hit, and there's just, I can't control Mother Nature. I can't control a wildfire, you know. So when you guys go to say something about her teeth or that she needs braces, we know, and we're trying so hard, but the fires literally,
they ruined us.
They ruined us. They took everything from us, you know. And so I mean, if you don't count the financial fine, you know, that's cool. But on top of the trauma and the PTSD that we all now have. Like when I see smoke, I freak out. I can't help it.
That's
you know.
PTSD.
Yeah, that's PTSD, sweetheart. Post-traumatic stress disorder. You know, I try to keep it on the inside so the kids don't see it. And I try to stay calm. But yeah, even I have PTSD now due to fire and things that cause fire. So just try to stay positive. Try to stay, you know, nice and in the comments. And remember, we love you guys and we're here. If you guys ever have anything you guys need to talk about, your PTSD, or, you know, you've gone through something similar, we're here to talk.
You can always go on like my channel or her channel and like vent if you want to.
Absolutely. We are more than happy to help you through your vent sessions. So I hope you guys have a great day. Stay positive, stay kind, like always.
Bye.